Today's podcast is brought to you by NordLayer. NordLayer safeguards your company's network, but it's much more than just a VPN for business. It secures and protects remote workforces as well as business data, and can even help you ensure security compliance. Most modern businesses are adopting network solutions like SASE, Zero Trust, and hybrid work security. NordLayer has all of that and more. Don't leave your business vulnerable. Try NordLayer today. Get your first month free by going to nordlayer.com/shared security. That's nordlayer.com/shared security to get 1 month free. Welcome to episode 253 of the Shared Security Show. And joining me this week is the one and only Kevin Johnson. Welcome back, Kevin Johnson.
There are lots of Kevin Johnsons. I just want to point that out.
That's why I'm saying Kevin Johnson. And we are also joined by very special guest, Rob Fuller. Now, Kevin, do you remember this one time at OWASP AppSec?
I thought you were going to say band camp.
No, well, remember this thing called the Shot Heard Around the World?
What he's doing is he's going to show where he got me in the face with the rocket thing that you guys were all throwing stuff at me.
Yes, okay. The Nerf dart right between your eyes, and I believe Rob, you were sitting next to me.
I don't have any recollection of this event. Not a single thing.
Oh, okay, you will. I will. When you see the animated
when GIF, you see the video,
he's looking for an opportunity to put this particular GIF into the notes.
Yes. So I just wanted to state that was one time the three of us were actually all together. That was a long time ago.
That was actually,
by the way,
shooting Kevin.
Was actually in 2010.
2010, yeah.
And the reason
I think
in 2010 is because it's the very first conference Secure Ideas sponsored.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's
Josh Feinblum called me up and said, "Hey, do you know anybody who wants to sponsor a conference?" And I said, "I can." And he goes, No, like a real company.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I'm like, no. That's why I want to sponsor, because nobody knows I'm a real company. It is also where they said to me, "Hey, can you send us your logo?" And I'm like, oh, damn, I need a logo. So I created a logo. Notice the pronoun there. And I very proudly showed my business card to Tom. And Tom said, "Why do you have the KeyBank logo on your business card?" And I said, "I don't have the KeyBank logo on my business card." And he pulled out his ATM card, and I had the KeyBank logo on my business card.
Yeah.
How'd that work out?
Well, we are really happy to. How did that work out, Kevin?
I immediately
you got a new logo.
Like, okay, yep, done. I think we went out to a site called like Logo Design Guru or something like that.
Yeah, it's like on Fiverr. Yeah.
Now I want a copy of this business card just to have it. Like that's.
You may be able to show it actually.
I wonder how many people still have the KeyBank logo Kevin Johnson business card. Nice.
Yeah.
That's very awesome.
Ooh,
the KeyBank logo.
Pretty.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on from Kevin's logo issues.
You're the one that brought up the story. Just saying.
That's true. But Rob, welcome to the show. It's been I've always wanted to get you on the show, and I, in particular, wanted to talk about your career and how you got started in this amazing thing called InfoSec, right? But maybe before we get started, I do want to congratulate you on finishing your master's degree.
Thanks.
Yes.
Because that's a pretty important accomplishment.
Yeah, that is a long time coming. And it was never something I even dreamed that I would be capable of. I'll say that I am one of the worst students you can ever have, just because one, my schedule is all over the place, but also I hyperfixate on what the teacher is teaching, and when it comes down to homework or repetitive tasks, I have really hard time doing them. So so writing a paper on bumblebees is one of the things, as an example, right? That is a paper that I just could not finish. And it finally took me, a couple months to finish it. And and that's one of the things. So I'm not trying to do an ad for WGU, but that's one of the nice things about WGU is it's at your own pace, right? So if you get stuck and your brain won't let you, ADHD or whatever, won't let you finish a task because you have anxiety or hyperfixation or like whatever the other term is to avoid tasks, happens to you, like traditional school, you're screwed. Like you're just going to get a 0, right? But with a college that like WGU, you can finish it later, and you're not going to get dinged for it. It's all self-paced completely, right? So if you go a whole term, 6 months without completing a single assignment, you're just paying for another term. Now they don't like you to do that, and they get dinged for not doing it. But it's not like they're gonna give you an F for it, right? So like you can keep going, and that was the only way that I could finish school. And I'm lucky to be alive in a time where that's possible. And there's probably medication that can help me with that kind of thing. But I've never got diagnosed or anything like that. So I have no idea if, I don't know. I come from a very traditional household where you just power through things, and it's not healthy, but like, I don't know.
Yeah, so I think we all have a little bit of ADHD in the industry, right? Being a hacker.
Yeah, kind of have to
moving from one thing to another.
Yep.
Exactly. So, so I remember back in the day, I mean, the first time I actually heard of you and saw you was on Hack 5, with the old crew, Shannon and Darren, and I remember we all kind of met up at ShmooCon that one year, and I think the rest was history.
Oh man, you're not even going far enough back. Shannon joined the crew much after it started. Harrison and John and he's gonna kill me for not remembering his name. The other co-host, darn it.
It's funny because I don't think I realized
Brian?
Shannon wasn't one of the first ones.
No, he wasn't, or she wasn't. Sorry.
I think that's when I heard of Hack 5 was when she was on it.
Yep.
Or I'm just forgetting.
Matt was also there. Yep.
Matt, yeah, that's right. Yep. But yeah, talk a little bit about kind of how you got started and all of that. Like, what was how'd you get into that?
Oh man. So I was in the Marine Corps still, and they were very much against any public anything. They didn't want you to be visible on podcasts or have your name out there or whatever, especially since I was working in the MARCERT at the time, the Marine Corps, like SOC essentially. So I came up with Mubix. That's a longer story, but I found Dig and the old Dig, right? The podcast.
Dig.
And all of the other IT based podcasts out there, which weren't very many. And so I was listening and reading as much as I could because like I was just consuming all of it. And Hack 5 did a dig on Dig. They basically did a what's it called? Like a parody of Dig. And it was like episode 2 of theirs or episode 3. And I saw it and I was like, this is amazing. This is hilarious. And they did more hacking stuff. And so I was all in. Like they were, I think, the first hacking podcast ever. Right. Other than like 2600, which is different. But they taught you how to do things. And so, after a while, I joined the RSC and, fanboyed out for a bit. And they were having a party in Williamsburg, and I'm like, holy cow, I'm local. Like I can actually go to something like this. And so I went down there and became a wallflower and just was on the side watching and listening and having a decent time, but like not knowing anybody. You're at a party, without other people that right? So it's very awkward. But Darren made everyone feel welcome, and if he saw you for an instant, he was instantly over there with you and pulling you into all the things, and I just had a lot of fun, and because I was super awkward and nervous and everything, like I teach when I'm nervous. So like I'm like, hey, did you know like you can do this with Gentoo? And he's like, really? That's awesome. And I'm like, hey, dude, I have this USB thing and I can do these things with it. And he's like, oh, that's awesome. And so we quickly became friends in the time. And he's like, hey, you want to come down another time? We have another party this and this day. And so did that. And then he's like, hey, that USB thing that you're doing, you have all your tools on that USB? How do you do that? And I'm like, hey, we need to do an episode on that. And so episode 9 of Hack 5, you will see me in my most awkward state ever, and it's still on the internet, which is,
Ooh,
yeah, it's
we
very
won't link that.
weird.
People can look it up.
Yeah. But like it still has my Marine Corps buzz cut and like high and tight and stuff. Wow. Oh yeah. And I am also like 170 pounds at the time. So we did the USB thing and, kept going down and even just either teaching stuff or learning stuff or, hanging out. It was like my own little mini DEF CON every few weeks. And my wife hated it because we were having our first kid really soon after that. But like I just was addicted to going down and hanging out, and that's what happened. That's how it came to be. It was just locality, basically.
Yeah.
Also, Darren being awesome.
Yeah, he is. He is awesome, and it's great seeing that they're still doing that. And
yeah.
I mean,
kind of
he's
passing
built
the
like an
torch
empire
too, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of the new people joining in and doing their own casts and stuff. It's been great.
Yep.
Employee awareness of cybersecurity threats is critical to your organization, but most employees are bored by traditional security awareness training. The vast majority of employees are much more engaged when training is gamified. ClickArmor is the first fully gamified security awareness platform that reduces employee vulnerability by 60%. These days, we can't avoid cyber threats. They're everywhere, and everyone is a target. Employees really need to get better at avoiding cyber threats like phishing and social engineering. Most security awareness training solutions aren't effective enough to really change behavior. ClickArmor uses a very different approach that employees love. We use proven gamification techniques with psychological drivers that keep employees motivated to learn and improve their skills. Rather than using controversial live phishing tests that anger many employees and provide unreliable metrics, ClickArmor's unique learning challenges help employees learn about cybersecurity in a fun, stress-free way that builds up their confidence. And our engaging simulated threat scenarios motivate employees to improve their skills in a safe and fun environment. Gamified simulators can also extend far beyond phishing scenarios to practice facing dangerous social engineering scams. Our weekly 3-minute challenges provide continuous reinforcement for employees. Motivating employees to participate willingly means higher assurance reporting for compliance and risk management. Simple integration with your employee directory means that deployment of ClickArmor is a snap, and single sign-on makes usage and ongoing management of ClickArmor easy. ClickArmor has been proven to provide better employee engagement, making IT managers' lives easier. If you're tired of ineffective awareness training that hurts your corporate culture, find out how to gamify your security awareness training experience to improve employee resilience with ClickArmor.
I think one of the things in your story that I want to call out is because, Rob, you're one of the people that I looked at as, man, I admire this person, I respect this person, I'm learning stuff constantly from your, when you first started, and to be very clear, still to this day, your entire, the persona you project, for the lack of a better term, is look, I'm just trying to figure this out. And if you figured it out, I want to hear from you. And if you're trying to figure it out as well, let's talk about it. So maybe I know something you don't know, and you know, like it's this cooperative, let's try to all be better. Right.
Yeah.
And
100%.
I think that, which is awesome. And one of the things that your story talks about is the importance of putting yourself out there and talking to people and getting involved, and right, like that attitude of, I went down and hung out at a party and I met people and that became this, right?
Yeah.
I think that's one of the things that when I talk to people trying to get started, that's the biggest hurdle for many of them, is they don't understand why they can't just sit on a bug bounty program or at their computer playing around with open source software and then get a great job, right? Like that. I hate it because I'm the shyest introvert you'll meet, but right, like I don't like
believe
going
you.
and hanging out with people. I don't like doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's so important to be known,
Yeah.
to find those contacts that can help you.
Yeah, I love saying the everyone says it's not what you know but who you know, right?
Yeah.
My favorite part of that is that it's not finished. It's not what you know. It's not who you know. It's who knows what you know, and that's how you get into this industry, right?
I can see that. I like that.
It's the people who know or think they know at least what you're capable of, and that's the important part, right? Like it's fine to meet another person, but unless they kind of know your capabilities, that doesn't translate into jobs. And that's not like go up to everyone and say, "Here's my resume. This is what I can do."
Yeah. Oh,
right.
Please don't do that.
But it's the participation, it's the collaboration, it's the sitting down at a CTF and hanging out with a bunch of people you don't know and trying to do the CTF. And if you fail, it's cool because you learn something. If you don't and you're first, cool, you learn something. Like it's all about like moving the bar for yourself and showing that you can be not only humble, but like also be out there and be okay with it. I know so many InfoSec people who will not, like, they've hit that level, that prominence level, and they won't participate in a CTF because they don't want to look bad if they don't get first, right? And that I think that's the worst attitude you can have, right? Because if you fail at a CTF, if you are 25th on a CTF, cool, like, at least you tried, at least you looked, at least you were. And I get that, there is realities in there that if you are a CEO or whatever, you don't want to possibly look bad to your customers who are seeing you participate in the CTF. I get there's perspective and nuance there, but I think that in general that, if you try and put yourself out there and do your best, like it doesn't really, I don't really care if people look at me and say, oh, he sucks at reverse engineering. Like, I don't care like that. And that might stunt my, my growth in my career, but I'm okay with that. Cause I don't want to be removed from doing things I enjoy just because I fear what could be the repercussions of doing so.
Does that make sense? The important part there is do the things you enjoy, right? Like there's too many people who are hesitant to do stuff because of what you're describing. And I'll pick on me, right? I don't do CTFs. Yeah, I think your example, I giggle a little bit, right? Yeah, the CEO doesn't do a CTF because they're afraid that they're going to look bad. I'm not afraid I'm going to look bad. I look bad all the time. I say things I shouldn't say. I've built a career from successfully looking bad. I don't do CTFs because I don't enjoy them at all, right?
So
and
can
I? It's important to recognize that the enjoyment part, I think, is so important. Right?
Can I fight you a little bit on that one?
If you're learning things, I'm sorry?
I said, can I fight you a little bit on that one? So
Sure.
I think that CTFs have a bad rap in a lot of ways because many people who build CTFs will focus on building them in a way that only they can figure out, and that's
Yep.
really frustrating, right? Like that is,
Yes.
I will walk away from a CTF where I'm like butting my head against the wall and like there's no hints, there's no movement, there's no like. It's not that I couldn't figure it out; it's that you have to make a leap of faith in a way that only the owner makes it, and that's getting a lot better. I think that there are a lot of CTFs where that's so. I encourage you, Kevin, to try another CTF. You might enjoy it next time.
I think my generalization is bad because I have tried other CTFs and I have enjoyed some of them. For example, Meta CTF. I have enjoyed the heck out of Meta CTF, right? You're absolutely right. The original set of CTFs I was going through, the example I always give is Juice Shop, right? And I like Juice Shop. We run it in Samurai, like it's. But one of the flags, to get the flag, you have to watch this random YouTube video, and in the video they say a password, and I'm like, it's funny.
A little
I've
frustrating.
been pen testing for almost 2 decades at some level, and I have never watched a YouTube video
to get a password.
CEO's password.
No?
Yeah, no, it's just never happened. And maybe there's pen tests I would have done better at if I had watched a random YouTube video, but I don't think so. No, I agree with you. But my point was not that CTFs suck, because I don't think CTFs suck. I just don't enjoy most of them, right?
Okay.
What I think is so important is find the thing you enjoy and do that. Now, you can't just do the things you enjoy. You have to push yourself and learn new things and try stuff out. Look, I hated Brussels sprouts as a kid, and I love Brussels sprouts now, right?
Things change. Yeah.
I'll go with the CTF thing, right? If you had talked to me 10 years ago, I would have told you that the vast majority of CTFs are useless. Right?
True.
I don't think that's true anymore. Right?
Yep.
Yeah. So Rob, you've had a lot of different experiences in your career. I mean, obviously Marine Corps, Hack 5, and then you've also worked in the corporate world as well, right?
Once or twice.
What's the one thing that yeah, right. What's the one thing that you would do differently in your career?
Ooh. Oh my gosh.
Tough question.
That is a tough question.
We ask the hard questions here on this show.
Yeah, so like the thing that I would do differently, man, I can either go very, very broad or very, very specific. I honestly don't. I think I only have one regret from my entire career. I mean, I got in a lot of trouble in the Marine Corps. There's a couple of regrets there too, but.
Of course. I was there too.
But I had a job where the leader of the group left. Leader of the team left. And there was a chance for me and one other individual to kind of move from seniors up to that role. And I didn't even try. Like, I'm not saying that I would be better at it than the person who got it, like the other individual, but I didn't even try. And I thought I wanted to be an individual contributor forever, and I didn't have any experience in management. And I got home when had the day that I told my my boss's boss that I don't want to be considered for it. And I got home and told my wife about it, and she basically hit me and said, which is abuse and you shouldn't do it. And she's like, what do you mean you don't have any managerial experience? You were in the Marine Corps for 8 years. You were a leader in there. You have Nova Hackers. You have all these other things that you've been a leader in. Just because it doesn't say manager on your title doesn't mean you don't have experience. And that hit me like a freight train, right? And I felt like crap. And yeah. It didn't go well for the team. I'm not saying I would have done better, like I said, but like I didn't try, and that was my one big regret when I had that opportunity and didn't go for it.
Yeah. Yep. So we talked about some advice, right, that I think we'd all give people that are just starting to get into InfoSec or thinking about it. What's something else that you could think of that you would offer to people just getting started?
Be okay with getting more experiences. I think one of the, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I think one of the strongest points that I have, the things that I bring to the table, is that I've seen different things work at different companies. Like there are geniuses all over all kinds of different companies. And the problem is that they are usually 1 or 2 people at a company, or 4, like on the broad scale. And usually the rest aren't so great, or are doing the best they can or whatever. Like there's usually like these bright lights, and I've gotten to see those bright lights at a bunch of different companies and learn from them. And I think that what I bring to the table is those experiences of seeing what could work, where a lot of people don't think those things could work. I saw a Active Directory guy at Uber. Unfortunately, he's passed away, but like he was hands down the best AD person I've ever met, and I learned so much from him. I was caught attacking the AD like my first week on the job, red teaming, so I was authorized. But like, he caught me at 11:50 p.m. on like a Saturday. And he's like, "Is this you? I just need to confirm." I'm like, "What are you doing up at this hour? Like, how do you know?" And he's like, "I have like 7 alerts that went off because you did this, this, and this." I'm like, "What? How?"
Wow.
And I went over and talked to him, and he, Jack Chen was his name, and he was amazing. And so I got experience with that kind of person. And if you find those people, and usually there's only a couple at a company or within your world at a company. And so get those experiences with a bunch of different people, get those experiences with different job titles, right? So like I've done forensics, I've done IR, I've done, and I'll never go back to forensics. And I've done red teaming, pen testing, consulting, internal, now managing, and just having all the different, pieces of security is really important. I've done help desk, like learning all of those things, sysadmin, like building all of that. It's what makes me, I think personally, a really, really well-rounded InfoSec person. Like, and many starting InfoSec people like want to funnel into a specific category, and they don't get the well-roundedness of it. And while I think that you can super specialize and be effective, I don't think it's as effective because you don't know those side, experiences. I don't know. Like, I'm better at pen testing because I've done forensics. Yeah,
I agree with you.
It's great.
I've got to drop right now. You guys enjoy yourself. Rob, it's great seeing you. I'll talk to you all
nice
later.
Seeing you too. Yeah, we need to like stay with each other for more than 5 seconds next time.
Exactly. So how can our listeners find out more about you and all the cool stuff you've been working on?
I'm on Mastodon now. I used to, Twitter's still out there,
so
but like
we're all on Mastodon.
Yeah, InfoSec Exchange at Mubix on there. Malicious.link is my blog now, and I used to have Room 362. I still do, but like that's where that is. And I've just been trying to actually now write a book on being a red teamer. So I'll look for that in the coming year, probably.
Yeah.
All right, that's me.
That's awesome. Kevin and I actually started writing a book, but we never finished it, and that's one of the things that
I've done that a couple times.
I think we want to get back to. Yeah,
Nice.
it's hard. It's a lot. I don't envy you. It's a lot of time you got to dedicate, and it's kind of like your next master's degree, right?
Yep, that's it.
Yep. Well, Rob, it's been an absolute pleasure finally getting you on the show.
Thanks for having
So
me.
thank
I
you
really
for coming
appreciate
on, and we'll have links to all your socials and all that in our show notes. But thanks again, and for everyone in the audience, we will catch all of you again next week. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to help support the podcast, hit that like and subscribe button. To catch all the latest from the show, visit our website, sharedsecurity.net. Follow us on Twitter at SharedSec, and join our Reddit community on the Shared Security Show subreddit.